So how cool would it be if you could put on your resume that you were a contributor to a popular open source repository like Ansible or Kubernetes, or even an operating system like Debian? Well, you might be thinking that,
I can't do that. I'm not an expert in any of those.
but let's jump over to the computer here and let me show you how wrong you actually are. Hey, what's up? I'm Will from DevOps for Developers, and running an open source project takes a ton of resources. So there's always room for all kinds of contributions. And I'm going to go through a couple of examples here and show you how you can get started contributing as you're learning about the tool itself. So when you work with the open source tools, and actually almost everything you work with in DevOps is going to be an open source product, that means that their code is available publicly on GitHub or some other repository. And so if we take a look at that, like we're looking at the Kubernetes source code right here, and there's actually a document in the repo here called contributing.md, and that's what you want to look for, because when you open that up, it's going to tell you how you can help and contribute to that community. Ansible breaks up their code into different collections because they cover so much. For example, if you're learning Ansible on AWS or learning how to manage your AWS resources using Ansible, that's a specific collection. When you go look at the code for that, there's another document here on how to contribute to that. And let's take a look at this one. I really like this one. It's for Containerd, which is a container runtime solution, very similar to Docker, but this is an open source version of it. Right here, you don't even have to look for a contributing doc. It's right on their main README that says now recruiting. And not only do they tell you where they need help in recruiting, which the first one is documentation. And I know for a fact you can write documentation. All you have to do is try and use the tool and then write documentation as to how that experience works. But also they link right here, if you're just getting started with smaller and beginner level issues, look for the experience beginner tag, and then they link over to their issues page in their repo, filtering it by the ones that are tagged for beginners. It really can't get much easier than that. So the process here is to figure out which repo or which application you want to contribute to, go to their repo, find out what their guidelines are, and then just start following those guidelines. So you'll commonly see that you have to sign an agreement with them, just saying, yeah, I'm going to be working on this and I'm not going to try to sell it, or different things like that, just a legally binding agreement. But then the other thing you want to do is they're going to list in there the communities where you'll find access to the maintainers. And it's really important when you find an area or a thing that you want to work on in the repo that you communicate with the maintainers of the repo and let them know what you're working on, what your thought process for solving that is, and get their feedback on it. And this is going to save you a lot of time from either working on something that they know is already in progress or something that's going to be obsolete, so they're not going to prioritize working on it, but also get some guidance from them and what they're going to be looking for in your contribution or your contributed code. And so then you'll do that work, open up a pull request, and then when it gets merged in, congratulations, you're a contributor to an open source repository. So when you add that to your resume, be sure that you don't just add that you contributed to an open source repository, which is very cool in and of itself, but think about the other things you did in there as well that constitute DevOps experience. You worked with a GitHub repo, you opened pull requests, you did code review, you went through a complete Git workflow, and you also collaborated with a large team across multiple time zones. So different things like that actually count as experience that look great on your resume and can help you show experience that's necessary to land your first DevOps job. If you found that helpful, be sure and click the like button for me down below, or if you thought it sucked, click the dislike button, and I'll see you in the next video.